Adventures of Irving Man!
This one is called The Tomb of Zaharan, which makes me think we're in one of the original Conan the Barbarian books.
Quiet, please. Genius at work.
At what work, may I ask?
I was learning to type with my eyes closed.
The quick brine fox jumbled the lazy dig. Oh, that's pretty good, Clark. What language are you trying for?
Esperanto. The Nazis tried to suppress it during the war, and he's helping it make a comeback. But he has to switch back to English, or at least what passes for English in Perry's office, because that's where they all need to be right now. Perry wouldn't tell him why.
Now, which one of you knows anything about the secret cult of Zaharan?
Whatever it is, I didn't do it.
Modern education. Don't they teach you anything but finger painting?
But, Chief, the secret cult of Zaharan?
It's a new one on me, too, sir.
Well, for your information, it's an ancient Near East culture. That book covers it completely.
And they care because...
In exactly 1 hour, Abdu Ben Bey and Ali Zing arrive in Metropolis, the last stop on their world tour. Rumor says that they belong to this cult.
I repeat, they care because...
Oh, yes. I remember reading a dispatch about them several months ago. Seems nobody knows what they're up to. Refuse to grant any sort of an interview, and they wear enough jewels to sink a battleship.
Exactly.
And you want us to get the interview?
Exactly.
And if we don't?
Exactly.
It sounds like they're taking a tour around the world. Why would they do that? I don't know, to see the world maybe? But if they do belong to this secret cult, they must be up to something else, something sinister. It's what secret cults do. And besides, if they aren't, this is going to be a really dull episode.
Miss Lane, it might help if you'd wear this.
What is it?
I borrowed it from Professor Walter's collection. It's supposed to be an ancient Zaharan relic. If you wear it, it might attract their attention, get them talking.
Let me guess. It's cursed or something like that.
You will have to think faster, my friend. Abdu and Zink will be here shortly.
Yes, I know. We followed them around the world waiting for the chance, and still it hasn't come.
The jewels which they wear on their turbans would make us rich men if we could get them.
Yeah, that if is the problem. I could build a super dandy studio right here if I had unlimited funds, which I don't, so I do the best I can. I think you guys are in the same boat. Incidentally, how much have you spent on your own trip around the world trying to get rich, and how close to rich would you be if you had just kept that money? Fez 1 has a plan. Fez 2 will steal something at the airport and be obvious about it. When he runs, those guys' guards will chase him, whereupon Fez 1 will grab the travelers and relieve them of those heavy jewels. Poor things must be exhausted carrying them around all the time. At the airport, Lois and the others can tell these two are up to no good. Clark says, I'll go check with security and see what they think.
Jimmy, the pendant! Stop! Thief, help!
After him.
I think we all knew that's what he was going to steal for his little diversion. Fez 1 makes his move.
No, they are sacred.
The jewels or I shoot.
We must do as he says.
And they always have to try shooting him.
Take care of him.
From prison, he wrote a best-selling memoir entitled A Bullet is Harder Than My Head. Superman got a cut of the royalties.
We have heard of you, even in our own country.
1,000 thanks be heaped upon you.
We are your humble servants.
If there is anything we can do.
Well, gentlemen, there's nothing you can do for me. But I have 2 young friends here from the Daily Planet, and they'd be very grateful indeed if you'd give them an interview.
Of course, it is the least
We can do.
The interview doesn't include Clark, so Lois is smugly telling him to go away. But he has something for her.
Oh, thank you. What's the matter?
That scarab, it is.
Extraordinary. Is that the one you were wearing?
Well, I was until the thief came along.
May we see it, please?
Why, certainly.
I told you it was cursed. She's going to turn into a camel or something, isn't she?
It is indeed.
Very beautiful.
Yes, it is.
You have been most gracious, Miss Lane. Tonight we leave for Beldad, the capital of our country.
And from there we move on to supervise a secret excavation. We'd be glad if you came.
And covered the story as our guest.
Forget packing and everything else. She's ready to go now. As long as Jimmy can go along for pictures, that is. No way is he letting her leave him behind on this one. They want her to wear the pendant, and she's fine with that. Makes her feel kind of glamorous.
Clark, you're just jealous because you weren't invited.
Lois, I think you know better than that. No, what do we know about these two characters after all? And what about this secret excavation business? What's that all about?
If we knew it, wouldn't be secret.
I don't see anything wrong with it, Clark, and it could be a great feature.
Well, you're the boss, Chief, but I just don't like it.
Clark has a Frank Smullins type feeling about this whole thing.
Now listen to me, you two. I want you to promise me something. I want you to watch your step and not take any chances.
For your peace of mind, Clark, I promise we'll file a dispatch the minute we arrive in Beldad.
Most countries had the ability to send a cable message, which was basically a glorified telegraph. Like the telegraph, it was charged by the word, so you wanted to keep your messages short and to the point. Overseas phone connections tended to be iffy at times, and in some countries they only functioned for part of the day, so you had to time your call just right. For people like diplomats and reporters, a cable was a lot more reliable. Clark is still uneasy, but Perry has lots for him to do, so he can't get away to follow them as Superman.
And to think we'd almost given up.
Fate has indeed been kind to us. But are you sure?
That they will come with us? Yes, I see them now.
What of the boy?
He will be a problem, but no sacrifice.
He's too great. Even his.
No sacrifices too great as long as it's somebody else's. They're making all kinds of weird esoteric references to things like incense, but our heroes aren't concerned. They're ready to go. Sorry, sir, the doors are only opened inward for extra special people. You must pass through it the other way. We'll watch some stock footage of a TWA plane, which many of you have never heard of. It stood for Trans World Airlines, and at this time, Howard Hughes owned it. After he let it go, it sort of went to seed and eventually ceased to exist in the early 2000s. At the Beldad Airport, they transferred to a car. That should take them into town where Lois can send that dispatch.
Hey, the sign says Beldad's that way.
We are not going to Beldad.
But our dispatch. I told you we promised to send one as soon as we got there.
We have instructed one of our messengers to send a dispatch in your name.
But you can't do that.
I believe he said he just did, and I believe he can make it stick since Abdul just produced a gun.
We mean you no harm. You must believe that.
It'd be easier to believe if you'd put that gun away.
I hate to admit it, Jim, but looks like Clark was right. I think we've done it again.
At least she recognizes their addiction to doing dumb things. Admitting it is the first step toward treating it.
I bet this necklace has something to do with it.
That, Miss Lane, is the sacred scarab of the Queen of Zaharan.
Oh, she can gladly have it back.
She already has, Miss Lane.
You mean, you think I'm...
Exactly. You are the Queen of Zaharan.
Their cult has an ancient prophecy. 5,000 years ago, the queen fell into a deep sleep in the tomb of Zaharan, and somebody prophesied that she would return in 5,000 years. They would know her because she'd be wearing that scarab. Now, it doesn't belong to Lois. It's borrowed from a collector who probably bought it from a tomb robber, but they don't care. She's their queen, and they're taking her home. Someday she'll be grateful for it. But today is not that day.
Chief, take a look at this dispatch from Beldad.
Good trip, stop. Safe arrival, stop. Proceeding to destination, stop. End dispatch, stop. Olson and Lane. Well, now, do you believe everything's all right?
Just the opposite. Take another look. Lois and Jimmy didn't write that dispatch.
If they had, they would have used newspaper terms. Clark suspects they've been abducted.
Let's call the police. Put it in their laps.
Now, wait a minute. I've got a few angles I want to try myself.
No, you don't. You stay right here.
Now, you wait a minute, Chief. Lois and Jimmy mean a lot more to me than any anniversary edition.
Well, nothing left for me to do but to fire myself.
If only.
There it is, Your Majesty. Your home for who knows how many thousands of years.
I think I'll pass. Too close to the neighbors.
I hope you like it, Miss Lane. I'll drop by to see you occasionally.
You will come too, Mr. Olson.
Perhaps you were one of her slaves. We shall soon find out.
Clark has been interrogating the two guys who tried to steal the jewels. Apparently, they're part of this cult, too. I guess stealing from each other is okay under cult rules. He gets some vague statements about the Queen returning, but beyond that, they won't talk.
Jimmy, we've got to think of something.
What I'm thinking now wouldn't be of any help.
Never fear, Your Highness. No one will steal you from the tomb.
Right now, I welcome a burglar with open arms.
The tomb has guards, servant women, the whole bit. The plan is to seal her and Jimmy in here for as long as the tomb remains undisturbed. Now, last I heard, a queen's job was to run things, make laws, help settle disputes, and all that. I'm not sure how they expect her to do any of that in here. They said way back when she fell asleep and the prophecy said she would awaken. Their response to that is to put her back in here and put her to sleep again. I don't understand. But if you look at their eyes when they talk, it's clear there's nobody sane in there.
Fortunately, you are not human like we poor mortals. You can live without food, without air.
Without food and air?
Of course. Now you will be made ready.
But I'm not your queen. I'm not. No.
She explained that the scarab was borrowed and doesn't belong to her, but they're so far gone nothing penetrates. She was wearing it, end of story. Before they can seal the deal, Lois and Jimmy must be properly attired. Since each of them has two helpers to convince them, they don't have a choice.
Jimmy!
Miss Lane.
Mr. Abdu and Mr. Zing, I know you don't mean to hurt us, and this is for the good of your people and your country, and I do want to help you, but I'm not your queen.
They're not listening. She might get their attention if she found a ceremonial dagger somewhere and held it to one of their throats. Or possibly not. They did say no sacrifice is too great.
That is the sacred incense. You need only breathe it for a little while.
And your former life and memory will be restored.
And I promised my mother I wouldn't smoke.
The only thing your incense is going to do is smother us. Why, we won't last an hour.
You will last forever, good queen. And now we poor mortals must leave before we choke to death.
Again, I have to ask, if she's the queen of your people, how is she supposed to queen if she's in here unconscious or dead? You people do not make sense. Clark has been talking with the local police chief, and he has the location of the tomb. The chief is interested in Clark's story, so he's headed there himself. I wonder who will get there first. Well, Lois fulfilled her destiny as the queen. She stayed in there for as long as the tomb remained undisturbed. Lucky for her, that was about 87 seconds.
Superman, it's good to see you.
And it's good to see you, too. How is the little queen? Feeling better?
Please, don't ever say that word again.
Golly, Superman.
Hello, Jimmy. You back with us? We'll have you back in Metropolis in no time.
She decided she did like the outfit, though, so she kept it and wore it around the office just to annoy Perry.
Look, the tomb of Zaharan has been opened.
Our queen must be gone.
Do not worry. The incense worked. She became the queen again.
Only she could move such a stone.
And whatever she does now is for the good of Zaharan.
The scarab. A sure sign she will return one of these centuries.
Yes, our work is done.
Does anybody else get the feeling these two are making it up as they go?
Incredible, Kent. I don't believe it.
Now do you believe it?
You thought I was just making a joke.
Oh, no. What have I done to deserve this?
Well, I think I look pretty snappy, Chief, considering I'm 5,026 years old.
Sure good to see you again, Chief.
Don't call me Chief, and go get dressed, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Shalom, Chief. Oh, go on. Get out. Get out.
Lois had the gold in the outfit appraised and sold it for enough to buy the Daily Planet, whereupon she became Perry's boss. After the 5th time she insisted he call her Your Majesty, he decided it was time to retire. Hey friends, if you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up button and let me and YouTube know it. If you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. And remember, you can become a patron of this channel for as little as $2 a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.